Okay, so like some of you may not know because I didn't, show it as often, but I like the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. I like the games. The movie I was disappointed in because I was hoping it would be based off the games, but when you look at what Scott Cawthon's been doing, with like the books or the books and the games, how they're always parallel universes, it makes sense that the movie would also be a kind of more of a parallel universe that doesn't go off the games or anything like that. I was hoping the movie would follow the games, but it makes sense that it didn't. But anyway, I digress. I love the FNAF franchise, even though I haven't beaten any. No way, I beat Security Breach. I got one of the endings and I was done. But anyway, I love the FNAF franchise. I still have all the games. I'll probably go back through sometime eventually and play them. But apparently, and I never really expected this, but I guess it makes sense. There's a dark side to the FNAF community. But yeah, so today, that's what we're gonna react to today. It's literally called Dark Side of the Five Nights at Freddy's community. And it's by the YouTube channel Visual Venture. So as always, link to the video, link to the channel, both in the description below. So be sure to check them out. But real quick, before we get to it, when he says the Five Nights at Freddy's community, I'm curious if it's, because when you talk about the FNAF community, there's also people who make fan games of FNAF fan games and just call it something completely different. So I'm wondering if he means them as well. Like, are we about to talk about them as well, or let's get into it. Content videos.
Now, anybody with a business named Freddy's needs to beware.
At Freddy's Pizzeria in Long Branch, the phone seems to never stop ringing.
Scott, I have your family's names, and I'm not afraid to do something bad with them. Like, give them to a hacker on a hacking forum on the deep web. This person was angry at Scott for making FNAF 3 and 4.
Wait, why?
Five Nights at Freddy's, arguably one of the most popular video games of all time. With a blockbuster movie, 9 beloved game installments, the Five Nights at Freddy's community has only grown throughout the years. But that may not necessarily be a good thing.
My name is Visual Venture, and we'll be diving deeper into the dark side of the FNAF community. Make sure to stay till the end to find out about the most disturbing parts of the fandom that you might not even know existed.
I still think the movie could have been better. Also, I'm mad at the glowing eyes. At first they had them at being red or whatever, and then they changed them to like a yellow. I'm still mad about that too. Anyway.
Stolen designs. With Five Nights at Freddy's, aka FNAF, having such a large worldwide fandom, many people have taken this as an opportunity to make some cash, but not in the most ethical ways. There are countless cases of people using FNAF materials, both copyrighted and fan-made, to make money online. Theft has been a common problem in the FNAF community, with so many fan projects like fan arts and fan renders being created on a daily basis. Many artists tend to get their work stolen and reused for commercial purposes without their permission.
This is my most stolen piece of artwork I have ever made. I don't know what it is about it, but it is literally everywhere. I've had friends that have seen it on Pinterest with no credit. I've seen it on Amazon. I've seen it on, well, AliExpress.
Artists constantly have their work stolen and made into merchandise, which have made thousands of dollars. But the artists themselves get no credit, and more importantly, no money from the profits. All this, unfortunately, is a common thing in most fandoms. There are plenty of artists that have to fight tooth and nail to get their designs removed from the shops of random sellers.
It's like LimeWire, but for art designs. It's like LimeWire, you know how you used to just download music, or anything where people just, download music or steal, artists' music. Except it's worse because people are putting it, reselling it, and making a profit off of it and not crediting the original artist. And oh man, holy crap. It's just so much worse.
problem of unauthorized selling isn't limited to third parties. There have been incidents where the masterminds behind the actual FNAF franchise themselves have used fan art and renders without permission from the original creators. Controversy arose when the teaser images of the long-awaited Five Nights at Freddy's VR game Help Wanted were released back in 2019. In one of the teasers, there was a blue render of Funtime Foxy, which at first glance just looked like a new model. But upon further inspection, fans started to notice that this was not the case.
If we transpose Gabbo's Foxy head onto the Foxy in the image, it becomes extremely apparent that at least some of this Funtime Foxy was copied from Gabbo.
The majority of the Foxy model was actually a fan render that was made by an artist in the community. And that artist in particular had not given the franchise permission to use their work, and was not compensated for it either. Scott Cawthon, the creator of the FNAF franchise, was quick to apologize for this incident. The teaser was immediately taken down and a statement was released explaining the situation. In the statement, Scott said that this was an isolated incident and that it wasn't done with bad intentions. He then praised the artists in the community for their talent, saying that some fan models even look better than the official ones.
And while the statement was well received within the community, believing it was a genuine mistake, this isn't the first time something like this has happened.
Funko, this isn't your original design. You stole this.
On August 25th, 2018.
So you even have major corporations, like obviously, you know, the Scott apologized for what his company that he was working on the game with did. But you even have other major corporations stealing fan art designs and reselling it. Holy, okay, it's much worse than I thought. I thought it was just like, you know, other random people that were like, I'm gonna make a merchandise from this shirt from this fan art shirt, or from this fan art. I'll make a shirt from this fan art that someone did, and I'm not gonna give them credit. I thought it was just kind of mostly like that. But you even have major corporations like Funko just straight up stealing designs. I think the only thing different between this one is that the eyes, the glow in the eyes is a little bit bigger. That's literally it. Obviously, other than the pose as well. The pose is different, but when it comes to creative differences, they didn't do enough to actually call it their own.
YouTuber Animatronic posted this video titled Funko Stole Fan-Made Designs. In the video, she reviewed a line of FNAF-inspired figures by Funko called the Arcade Vinyl Collection. And for the first half of the video, things seemed to be going alright. That is, until she got to the Foxy figure in the collection.
I knew I'd seen this somewhere before, but gosh, this is really strange. It's still a cool figure, but now we know it was really made by a true fan. A fan that was kind of ripped off.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg, because some members of the FNAF fandom are more than capable of inflicting harm.
The toxic culture.
Wait, so do corporations do that just because they simply think that just if it's fan made, that fan doesn't have copyright capabilities or something like that? I mean, do they do that because they think that way, or are they just lazy? Or I don't understand why you would want not even give them credit. Okay, yeah, I do understand, because you want to cut corners, you want to be lazy, but it's wrong in general, especially for a major corporation, to just be like, just find something on Google, find some fan art, and then we'll just redo that design. Yeah, it's good. It's not like Scott can sue us. And the person who created the design probably doesn't have enough money to go through with a lawsuit either. So they're just gonna take that and not give credit and not do anything for the person, not even reimburse the person who made the original design. You would expect major corporations to do better.
Since the first Five Nights at Freddy's release in 2014, the fanbase has been growing, but the bigger the community, the more bad apples there are. And the FNAF community soon earned itself a negative reputation that it did not want to have. Toxicity is a common thing when it comes to large-scale online fandoms, and for the FNAF community, that is no exception. But while many fandoms seem to be wary, and even for the FNAF community—
Is that Freddy doing the Batman and Bane pose? No, the Bane pose. Or the Bane and Pink guy pose. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Bane and yeah. It's pretty much doing the Bane pose, right? Oh, or at least, I guess not really.
Community, that is no exception. But while many fandoms seem to be wary and even aggressive towards outsiders, the FNAF fandom is one of the rare few that has just as much internal hostility as they do external. Within the FNAF world, fans get excited about different parts of the story, whether it's games, books, or shows. But this means that everyone forms different opinions. But instead of accepting differing opinions, many members start conflict. A particularly vocal part of the community are the theorists, who come up with a wide range of theories on the game's various aspects, like the character lore or plot. Since these are mostly theories, they haven't been confirmed by any official sources, making it all opinion-based. Whenever theorists don't agree on a certain fan theory, it becomes a breeding ground for intense hatred in the community.
I didn't know theorists got that, you know, protective of their theories or other people's theories. Like I love like the FNAF theories. They're some of my favorite videos, especially Matt Pat's. And there's also the FU and then NAF NAFF YouTube channel. Like they have some great theories too. But man, I bet they get attacked a lot for their theories if it gets this like toxic. Like holy crap! I wouldn't imagine that, to be honest.
Fan wars have become a norm in the fandom, which have escalated to not just arguments, but also more concerning things like threats and even doxing. This vocal minority of the fandom has even taken their toxicity outside of the community, issuing threats to people's families, friends, and coworkers. Even the creator of the
Whoa. Hey, yo, it ain't gotta be that deep. It really ain't gotta be that deep. Yes, it's nice to be passionate about things and have, you know, and be a fan of certain things, but it ain't gotta be that deep. You don't have to start going for threats on people just because you disagree with what their theory was. Like real life threats and threatening their family and stuff. Like, come on, bruh. It really ain't that deep. Come on. There are some crazy people out there.
Franchise is not immune to this toxicity. Scott Cawthon, the creator of the FNAF franchise, has dealt with his own fair share of issues when it comes to the fandom, particularly in regards to the safety and privacy of him and his family.
Scott, I have your family's names, and I'm not afraid to do something bad with them.
Back in 2021, Scott Cawthon stepped down from his role as head of the FNAF franchise after a major controversy regarding donations he made to certain politicians. As a result, many FNAF fans turned against him, and he backed away from the franchise completely. However, instead of leaving it at that, some angered FNAF.
I'm still not really a fan of the movie. I'm not gonna lie. I did not like the movie.
Fans went as far as to try and dox him by exposing his personal information, like his home address, which they found from the donation page. And
okay, yeah, I didn't like the movie, but there's a lot of things I don't like, but I don't see myself as ever going this far for disliking something. Like having to threaten someone, getting their address off the donation page just so you can like threaten to do something with it. Like, holy, I don't understand the minds of some of these people, man.
To make things worse, they even sent threats to his pregnant wife, who had no relation to Scott's personal donations. Fans should be allowed to speak their minds about Scott's choices, but escalating it to the point of potential harm is too much, especially since Scott's family was being dragged into it. But on the other side of the coin, there were also diehard Scott fans that were also doxing others in an attempt to defend him. Vivian Medrano, aka Vivi's Pot, known best for creating the animated series Has Been Hotel, took to Twitter to speak up about Scott's controversy. In her tweets, she talked about how she believed Scott could have.
I love the Has Been Hotel YouTube 1 hour long video, and I love Hell of a Boss. But when Has Been Hotel went to Amazon and they changed up some of the voices, like I like the radio guy. What's I forgot his name. I like the radio guy's voice in the YouTube video, but when it's compared to the one on Amazon, it's just like you messed it up. You messed it up. Like the effects on the YouTube version were great. You messed it up when it came to the Amazon version. You corporatized it. That makes sense. I don't like it. I never finished watching the Hazbin Hotel and Amazon series just because I didn't like what they were doing with it compared to the original, and so I was like, I'm done with it. But anyway,
handled the situation better. But many Scott supporters were not fond of this and thought that Vivian was encouraging the public to continue Scott supporters.
Wow, cool. So I replied to a tweet my friend made with a hot take about Scott's statement. Now I have been doxxed. You blinking happy, you ducking happy now. Actually, duck you. Look who's the hypocrites now. Ducking hell. Don't you people dare act like you have the moral high ground over me.
Were not fond of this and thought that Vivian was encouraging the public to continue bashing on Scott. So they don't get hurt. Those addresses are not where I live anymore. So you can't get to me with them. Hope y'all take a look in the mirror to see if kicking someone down and doxing them is okay when it's someone you don't like. Thought you hated me. Thought you hated the cancel mob. Shut up. All right, hold on. That was my alarm going off for some things I have to do for this game. But anyway. To dox her in retaliation.
But Scott Cawthon isn't the only one facing controversy. It's become a common pattern among official FNAF staff members.
Controversy from within.
Even the staff
Before we
members?
talk about the controversial employees within the FNAF community, I want to thank today's incredible sponsor, Manscaped. So the product I have for you guys today is the Handyman Compact Face Shaver. I'm going to tell you guys a secret. So I've never used a normal razor before. I've never even bought shaving cream in my life. 2 reasons.
Oh wait, no, or that kind of razor. No, I've only used electric ones. I've only bought one. I've had it for years and it still barely works. I have to keep plugging it in. It doesn't hold a charge. I plug it in for about, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes, unplug it, shave, and then if after I turn it off, if I try to turn it back on, it won't turn back on. But it doesn't hold the charge. If I charge it for too long, then it doesn't turn on at all. I should probably get a new one, but no.
I'm terrified of getting cuts from normal razors, and electric shavers are just straight up more convenient. But I know that normal razors give you a better shave than electric ones. Until today, because the Handyman gets you the closest shave of any electric shaver that I know of and features skin-safe technology designed to help reduce cuts. It has a unique dual blade. One side is a long hair lever blade to cut down long stubble.
Doesn't everybody say their blades are unique? I'm pretty sure that's just a selling point.
Then use the other side, which is a standard foil lever for a smooth finish. As a YouTuber, I'm literally working 14 hours a day, so I try to find ways to make things more convenient for me. The Handyman cuts down a lot of time because it's compact, so I can take it.
YouTubing is a lifestyle. It's not a job or a career. It's a lifestyle. Well, I guess it doesn't have to be, but for a lot of people, it is.
Anywhere and store it anywhere, and it's waterproof, which makes cleanup super easy. And because of its compact size and rechargeable battery, it's also airplane friendly. It has a whole 60 minutes runtime on a single charge. Manscaped gave me a special deal.
If you need 60 minutes to shave, you are pretty hairy.
For you guys, go to manscaped.com/visual and use my code visual20 at checkout to get 20% off your purchase of the Handyman. I'm definitely going to use this thing for a super long time. When it comes to controversial employees in the FNAF franchise, there's one particular name that comes to mind for most fans, and that is Lady Fizzy. Lady Fizzy was a popular FNAF fan artist turned into official employee. Over time, she created many official artwork for the franchise, including cover art for FNAF books and graphic novels, as well as models for the game. Outside of her art, she's also well known for writing fan fiction, which gained popularity in the FNAF community. To many fans, Lady Fizzy was living the life. Going from a fan to an actual employee was a dream come true.
But for
Yeah.
Lady Fizzy, it was
Congrats
more
to
like
her.
a nightmare. Her career was cut short when harmful information from her past was revealed to the public.
Lady Fizzy had a few concerning interests, which she openly talked about. One of which being that she's a lolicon, which basically means...
Oh no. Oh no, bruh. I just got through doing a reaction to an updated Chris Tyson video where saying that Mr. Beast knew things. So now finding out that this person was also a lolicon, bro. Yeah, it's not. 2024 has been the downfall of lolicons. Bro, it is holy crap.
That she's fascinated with people that take on the appearance of young girls. This in itself was disturbing to a lot of FNAF fans, considering that a large portion of the fandom were a younger demographic. But that wasn't all. In her fan fictions, people started finding creepy details which included kinks given to FNAF characters that were severely frowned upon. And also young characters in questionable settings, ones that are so bad.
Also, aren't most of the FNAF characters like just animatronics? How are the kinks given to them? I don't understand what to say. This the same scene she referenced includes an insert character of Scott Cawthon who exchanges a PDF file joke. We're gonna say that instead with Lady Fizzy's purple guy Barney about opening little girls' bottle caps. Oh my god. The little bottle opener cackled Scott. See, mate, every girl wants you to open their bottles. He narrowly punctured the quote marks, even imitating them with his hands. Okay, I don't need to read the rest of that.
That we can't even mention. With all this evidence pointing towards Lady Fizzy being unfit for a role on the FNAF team, the community pushed for her to be terminated from the company.
The hate for Fizzy got so strong and enough that around early 2023, a hashtag was made and spread around Twitter, #FireLadyFizzy, as an effort to encourage Scott to fire her from the series.
This move.
Hold on, let's just. I gotta give it to this is like a good time for the when the FNAF community is such fanatics. There's someone who's newly hired into the FNAF corporation. The fan community is so just such fanatics that they did a dive into that person's history, found out they were a lolicon, and then pushed for her to be fired. So basically, if let's say, since I just referenced Mr. Beast and the Chris Tyson thing because I just did a reaction to that video. Let's say if instead of Chris and Mr. Beast growing up and being friends, since they were little or whatever, if Chris had come into the company of Mr. Beast at a later point in time, would people have done the same thing? Are Mr. Beast fanatics the same fanaticy as like the FNAF fanatics? Like, would they have gone into a deep dive of Chris and found out all this ish before, and then had him fired before Mr. Beast continued working with him and possibly ruining his own image as being associated with him? In a world where everything I just said took place.
Ended up working, with Scott informing the public that Fizzy was removed shortly after this hashtag went viral. But she wasn't the only questionable employee that Scott ever hired. Pinky Pills was also a fan turned official artist, and she also had her own unsettling interests. In her free time, Pinky...
Also real quick, like, when you get a job, right, they do a background check. Nobody does background checks like fanatic fans do. Bro, like, the internet does background checks harder than whoever does the background checks for jobs. Like, holy crap. But also they have different standards, because like doing background checks for a job, just making sure you like your criminal history and stuff like that. But doing background checks for social media influencers or you know, something or a corporation that you're a fan of, or something that's always online, something that always has an internet presence in a way. Yeah, that's a whole new type of background check. People will go in on that. Whew. Holy crap.
He liked to draw intimate art featuring FNAF characters, but the scenarios that she would draw them in was enough to earn her disapproval from the community. And alongside that, she was also exposed as enough to.
So this guy's went from smiling, seeing her fall,
featuring
and then gets
FNAF
excited about her having a wounded
characters.
leg.
But the scenarios that she would draw them in was enough to earn.
And gets super into it when she's crying. What the hell is that? Yeah, that's pretty questionable, yo.
Her disapproval from the community. And alongside that, she was also exposed for tracing her work, including the official art that she did for the FNAF team. And her traced artwork ended up being used in actual FNAF materials. Pinky Pills hasn't faced nearly as much scrutiny as Fizzy did for her actions, but word is quickly spreading about what she's done. As of right now, though, she supposedly still works for the FNAF franchise.
Really?
My friends, we're just scratching the surface of disgusting people in the FNAF community.
I thought she would have been like removed just as fast as the other chick, but as Fizzy, whatever, but she wasn't. She's still working there.
Because these disturbing
this video came out 3 months ago, so I don't know if she's still working there, but as of that time she was.
Individuals we're about to talk about have masked their true identities behind their fan games.
Games not meant for kids.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier and welcome to the mega episode of Five Nights at Freddy's Fan Games.
When it comes to fan-made content, there are few communities that can compare to Five Nights at Freddy's. The fan game culture is huge within the fandom, with some developers creating games that are so good that they're comparable to the original ones. But while there are undoubtedly gems in the FNAF fan game genre, there are also some games that are not only poor in quality, but just straight up wrong. Funtime at Homer's is a fan game that mixes The Simpsons and FNAF together, but in the trailer video for the game, it was found that the N-word was plastered somewhere in the video. This, of course, caught the attention of fans, and the developer was quickly called out. Another fan game called Five Nights at the Haunted House also found themselves in controversy, but for a much worse reason. In the Five Nights at Freddy's games, the introduction scene is always a series of newspaper headlines that relate to the game. But in this fan game, the newspaper headlines were not only morbid, but also real. The headlines featured real missing persons cases, including two of whom both sadly ended up passing away. The developer...
Holy crap. Okay. That's disturbing AF. But I'm wondering if the reason that they did this was because when the first FNAF game actually came out and you know, theories first started about it, there was the game theory that, you know, FNAF was the deaths that happened in FNAF were based off deaths that happened in an actual, you know, real life incident during a robbing of an actual pizzeria. So I'm wondering if that's why they put news clips of, you know, real life missing people in their game. But it was not the move to do. It was not the move to make.
Was immediately criticized for being insensitive and using the pain of real families as part of his game.
And these fan games just get worse.
While fan games are its own category in the FNAF community, there's a subcategory of games that's been growing in popularity. NSFW FNAF games. In these games, the animatronics from the original series are made to look more human-like, more sensual. This means giving them revealing outfits or modifying their bodies to exaggerate certain parts so they fit with the adult theme more. One of the most popular FNAF fan games is called Five Nights in Anime. These are games that morph the animatronics to look more like grown women, putting them in skimpy clothing and changing up their behavior to be more intimate. And in these games, instead of surviving the night like the original game's premise is, these new characters want to do other activities with players during the night instead.
Well, let's be real. It just follows Rule 34. If it exists on the internet, there's gonna be something lewd about it. Like, someone's gonna do it. Someone is just, I bet there are people who dedicate their lives to making NSFW versions of everything that's online. Or as soon as it hits the internet, there are people that have their finger on the pulse and they do it.
Concerning about this sudden spike in inappropriate fan games is that a lot of FNAF fans are relatively young, and they easily have access to these games. These risque character models have made their way throughout every inch of the internet, through fan art that's posted on social media, videos that are created using the models, and even as virtual avatars in games like VR Chat. In VR Chat, avatars from Five Nights in Anime, or FNIA, have taken over the game, becoming some of the most commonly used avatars. There's an entire market for avatars like these, and people pay real money to buy them. And since FNIA is an adult-themed game, many have used the avatars for inappropriate reasons, implementing features like doing certain actions. There are even exclusive VR Chat events that are hosted that can only be attended by FNIA avatars. And as you likely guessed, they aren't safe for work either. Since there's no age verification on the game, many of VR Chat's players are actually kids. Those with FNIA avatars commonly use VR Chat as a way to meet potential partners. With nothing to go off aside from a voice and no way to verify anyone's age, you can see how this can be a scary situation. But despite the nature of these games, there are many FNIA fans.
No. This doesn't matter. This whole I've always been mature for my age. No, nobody cares. Doesn't matter. You're still underage. Just try not to mention it because I like your stuff. I'm gonna be blunt. Also, you don't mind if I use your pics for personally. What the
who love them. One of the most common topics they talk about on social media is just how attracted they are to some characters.
The rapid rise of these types of fan games created a new subculture within the fandom, attracting those who like the game's characters just a little too much.
Fan content can be genuinely fantastic, but it's nearly impossible to ignore how awful the waste can be.
I want Funtime Freddy to slap the tip on the camera as a treat.
When people think of the Five Nights at Freddy's fandom, many people associate it with inappropriate content. And that's because while not every member of the community is like this, there's a fair amount of fans that are drawn to the animatronics in ways that they shouldn't be. This growing attraction to the animatronics has created an influx of questionable content to be made about the characters. And this sort of content isn't shared.
That's pretty freaking dope. I'm not gonna lie. That obviously it's not a costume, but whatever it is, that is awesome. That's from Left 4 Dead, right? No, not Left 4 Dead. Last of Us, right?
Influx of questionable content to be made about the characters. And this sort of content isn't shared in private. It's widely available on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And not to mention, it's easily found on Google. So I've already mentioned the implications that this could have on children, since they stumble upon this stuff easily while just looking for FNAF content. But there are other red flags.
Yeah, so now FNAF is ruined for them, just like FNAF is slowly being ruined for me. Because I didn't expect any of this to, like, you know, to be part of a part of the FNAF community, but I was ignorant to the fact that there was a dark side to the FNAF community. At least beyond, at least beyond just, you know, people stealing art.
Flags, particularly when it comes to the characters being featured in this sort of content. In the original game, the 5 main animatronics are possessed by the spirits of 5 children that have passed at the hands of William Afton. With that in mind, some people have become disturbed at the fact that animatronics that are supposed to represent 5 kids are being seen as attractive. And in Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, the main protagonist is actually a young boy named Gregory. Gregory is often depicted in gross scenarios for content, which is a terrifying thought considering he is a child, and he's constantly being shipped with animatronic characters or older characters, like Vanessa, a character in the series who also happens to be 23.
And this is just the beginning.
Dormatabus is an infamous FNAF fan game that gained...
Oh, it's getting worse. It keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. FNAF is ruined for me. FNAF is ruined for me.
Popularity, not for its quality, but for its horrifying story.
Dormatabus is a disgusting, vile game made by an alleged
that crashed on me over 10 times across the course of my entire playthrough.
Created by the developer Nietzsche, aka Blackout 1912, Dormitabus soon made its rounds in the FNAF community after many content creators started calling the game out for its creepy elements. This is in reference to one of the main characters, Garvey. In one of the tape recordings that you can find lying around, Garvey recalls a time in his life where he did bad things, particularly to a young girl. In the tape, it's clear that the Garvey character was not only remorseful, but also happy about it. He called it a fun time. This was already enough to disturb players, but what made things even worse was that this wasn't just fiction. The developer had created this character based off of a real person, himself. On November 12th of 2020,
oh my god. So he put his own confession into the game. Like, I hope that, like, I hope he's, like, put him, just go ahead and put him behind bars, bro. Just good, it's good, it's okay. Put him behind bars.
YouTuber by the name of Nocturnum uploaded a video that exposed Nietzsche for all of the questionable things he's done. This included showcasing his history of blackmail and manipulation. But that wasn't all, because Nocturnum would go on to talk about how he was added into a mysterious group chat out of nowhere. And that's where he'd see Nietzsche's true colors. In the group chat, Nietzsche was said to have touchy interactions with other users, particularly ones that were much younger than him. So while Nietzsche's fantasies
it's Chris Tyson all over again. Holy shit.
Were quickly condemned by the FNAF community, developers like this are far from rare. Similar to Nietzsche, the developer Jonochrome was also exposed for similar reasons. Jonochrome was best known for the fan games One Night at Flumpty's and Riddle School, but after his messages got leaked, his reputation was destroyed in the community. He was allegedly said to be in an inappropriate relationship with someone named Emily. This relationship lasted for 5 years until Emily decided to expose everything in 2021. Emily,
if I had to post it, I guess it most likely was Emily. Speaking personally here, as I said, I recall him saying online relationship, so I only have my own memory to go here, but I remember for certain his panic was net something and contacting Emily. Why is it so hard for people to not have intimate relationships with minors? For adults to just not have intimate relationships with minors?
Statement came out at around the same time that Jonochrome was dropping the 4th installment of his beloved fan game series One Night at Flumpty's. So some fans of the game didn't believe her, calling it convenient timing. But another fan game developer, Kane Carter, was able to confirm that the allegations against Jonochrome were true. So Jonochrome spoke up.
John made his own statement on Twitter, once again confirming that the allegations were true.
Jonochrome then took next steps to try to fix his past mistakes, such as enrolling in therapy. Some believed that this was a true mistake and that Jonochrome was capable of change, while others didn't.
In this next chapter, we'll see how some fans blur the lines between make-believe and reality, even connecting FNAF to a real crime.
Taking theories to the extreme. Theories are one of the big...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, that was like in the one of the first type of game theories about it that was connected to a real crime.
Biggest parts of the Five Nights at Freddy's fandom. With so many games, books, and now a movie, there is a ton of lore that fans want to build upon. FNAF theorists are constantly looking to expand upon each character's lore, backstory, and overall plot of the game, but it's not always in a good way, because sometimes these theories get so out of hand that it has real-world consequences. One of the most infamous theories in the FNAF community actually stems from a real-life crime. In the FNAF games, it's said that the animatronics are possessed by the spirits of children who have passed. Well, back in 1993, there was an incident that occurred at a Chuck E. Cheese in Aurora, Colorado.
Yeah, this is the incident that I was talking about, of possibly being the reason the other guy put actual missing persons in their game.
Year-old Nathan Dunlap, a former employee, stormed into the store and caused havoc, and in turn ended 4 young children who were there at the time. This crime has a vague similarity to the FNAF storyline, considering that the children also were at a place with animatronics, but it didn't really become a popular theory until Matt Pat covered it on Game Theory. Since then, it's completely gotten out of hand. It created real-world tensions between the FNAF community and the Chuck E. Cheese franchise. Fans have used this theory to connect the business with the game, which Chuck E. Cheese did not like. Things have only gotten worse in recent months following the release of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. It's been said that Chuck E. Cheese hated being associated with FNAF, and that they've gotten to the point of blocking people online who compare them to Freddy's Pizzeria. However, during the FNAF movie's promotion period...
Yeah, I mean, obviously people are gonna make that connection after that, but I low-key feel sorry for Chuck E. Cheese because they had nothing to do with it. Like, they were just innocent bystanders. Like, so yes, there was some ish that happened at one of their locations in Aurora, Colorado, but they weren't, you know, they were obviously had something that they wanted to leave behind in their past. And so it's unfortunate that Matt Pat made that theory about it, but theorists gonna theorize, and when people kept trying to make that connection to it, it just continues to ruin Chuck E. Cheese's image after they're trying to leave that back in the past and they're trying to recover from it. So that's just real world affecting a business. So I feel sorry for Chuck E. Cheese for that, man.
Chuck E. Cheese tried to take advantage of this for their marketing strategy. They created ads and events that were similar to FNAF lore in an attempt to try and get more customers while the movie was being hyped up. This was not received well by FNAF fans, as tensions were already high between the two communities, and fans started to retaliate.
I'll give them props for
trying. And if we're talking about theories, then it should be no surprise that the most popular sub-fandom of the FNAF community also has a theory of their own. The adult theory is a theory that became popularized upon the release of the FNAF game Sister Location. In this game, the setting has changed from the usual pizzerias, but rather it's now at a place called Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental. The game comes with its own set of new animatronics, with a few notable additions like Circus Baby and Laura. For theorists, new characters meant new theories, but this time it was going to take a much more wicked turn. Creator and developer Kane Carter started the adult theory, which claimed that animatronics in Sister Location at FNAF game were not like the usual ones in the other FNAF games, and that they were actually at Circus Babies to provide a different sort of entertainment, one that was meant for an adult audience. With Kane Carter being such a well-known name in the FNAF community, many people have supported this theory, pushing it to be for real. But that's problematic considering many of FNAF fans are young. And with all the recent releases, it seems like the franchise has been trying to cater to younger audiences.
And of course, it's time to talk about the fans who take things...
I don't know why the franchise would want to cater to younger audiences when the game's about children that died and have rotting corpses inside the animatronics and are possessing animatronics. So I don't get why it tries to appeal to the younger why it tries to more appeal to the younger audiences other than just maybe young adults instead, because that's really what since there's so much death and blood and violence in the history of it, how the animatronics became possessed, then that's kind of more of an adult subject to begin with. But anyway, so I don't know why they would try to go for younger audiences, but...
To the next level.
Fans with no limits. The FNAF fandom is very devoted to their game and the characters within it, sometimes to the point where it's unhealthy and even dangerous. The most recent examples could be tied to the release of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. With FNAF having such a passionate fan base, this has made the franchise's entrance into mainstream media a lot more difficult. The
movie sucks.
Hard fans of the games have clashed more than once with casual moviegoers, and there have been multiple incidents of FNAF fans who have ruined film showings by wreaking havoc.
It's been bad, bro. It's been really bad. I saw one video on Twitter of a bunch of people ending up fighting in a cinema because they had different opinions on the film.
Fans have been filmed.
Okay, that's way that's way too far. Like, it's okay not to like something. Like, just like how I don't like the movie. But you don't have to just start physically fist fighting people just because they have a different opinion about other than you about the movie. Like, when serious game lovers of the franchise versus casual moviegoers like becomes an actual fight, that's not unnecessary, bro. You can have the disagreement, like, okay, like you can. I don't even know why people don't have the understanding where it's like, oh, so you're not really into the game lore, so you don't really know much about it. So to you, it seems pretty chill. To you, it's just from your perspective, it's just this. Okay, I understand. And then just take their opinion and be cool with it. You can even go as far as to be like, here's why I don't agree with you. And then also if you like the movie, you should go check out the original theories for the game or the lore of the actual game itself. You might like that even better. And then just give them some references to watch. Other than turning it into an actual fight, it's not that deep. I don't understand that.
Stealing Five Nights at Freddy's themed cardboard cutouts, posters, and other merchandise from movie theaters. There are even videos of FNAF fans running through entire malls screaming and shouting as they follow someone who has stolen a piece of merchandise from the theater. The most famous incidents date back to 2015 and 2016 when FNAF fans overwhelmed local pizzerias so badly with spam calls because of baseless theories. In 2015, a piece of source code of an FNAF game was released that had a phone number inside of it, which just so happened to also belong to a pizzeria, which was wait. 2015, a piece of source code of an FNAF game was released that had a phone number inside of it, which just so happened to also belong to a pizzeria, which was the setting of the game. Thinking
also putting a phone number in without actually checking that phone, like, because you know how by this point Scott knew how theorists dissect everything. So putting a phone number in and not being sure if it actually goes to a real pizzeria or not or whatever, hold on, let me go back and because maybe I heard it wrong. Hold on.
Which of source code of an FNAF game was released that had a phone number inside of it, which just so happened to also belong to a pizzeria, which was the setting of the game. Thinking this was some sort of clue or leak of the next game, countless fans spam called the real pizzeria, harassing its employees and causing damage to the business.
Okay, yeah. So he didn't know that the developers didn't know that the phone number went to an actual pizzeria. Like, putting the phone number in there without doing that little bit of research is unbelievable. That's just downright, like, how do you make that mistake at all? It's like, are you even trying, or are you? Because you know how at this point, you know how fans dissect everything about that game when it comes out. When there's any type of lore about it, when there's any type of hint about it, people stalked the Scott Games website just for an update on if there would be any type of lore. Like if there was like a new image on scottgames.com, people would take that image, change the brightness, change the hues, change the saturation, do all this, do all that, try to find any type of hint to anything about it. So of course, people are gonna people have already been known to go through the source code for things. Why would you put a phone number in there and not know where it goes to, or not realize that it's also a number to a pizzeria? How would you? That's willful negligence. If I believe.
It got so bad that the creator Scott Hawthorne had to deliberately tell fans to stop doing this in a formal statement. But despite his best attempts, that didn't help at all, because a year later in 2016, this same thing happened again when another pizzeria was mass called about FNAF.
Now, anybody with a business named Freddy's needs to beware. If your phone is already not ringing off the hook, it might start soon.
And the only reason why? The pizzeria had just happened to be called Freddy's, and it wasn't even spelled the same way as the game. The most disturbing incident is what happened during MatPat's FNAF alternate reality game, or ARG hunt. Back in 2022, MatPat from Game Theory made a video on his theory about a Five Nights at Freddy's themed alternate reality game. In the video, Matt told his audience about his theory that an FNAF AR game was previously in the works, but scrapped before release. So Matt encouraged FNAF fans to go out into the real world to figure out if this AR game was actually in development. Countless FNAF fans went looking for possible clues to try and see if Matt's theory was actually...
I don't know what MatPat was thinking there. I have no clue what he was thinking. Like, he had to have known that was going to turn out bad. Oh my god, I bet he regrets that.
Real, but instead of proving that, they just ended up overwhelming several local businesses and disrespecting workers at restaurants and stores as they attempted to find answers.
Some people actually called the actual places of businesses in the towns that were referenced in the book. According to our subreddit, one place of business actually received enough annoying phone calls that they actually had to shut off their phone.
And it even escalated to a point where some fans suggested digging up an actual grave because they believed that there could be clues underneath it. It got so bad that MatPat had to call the entire thing off, begging FNAF fans to stop.
Just to be absolutely crystal clear, beyond a reasonable doubt, stop. Please stop.
Exploring the Five Nights at Freddy's community has shown us how a video game can stir up strong emotions, both good and bad, and some to the point of causing real destruction. My friends, your words and actions matter, especially online when no one is watching you. And it's time that we make the internet a friendlier place. Visual Venture.
Wait, before you go, make sure you guys click subscribe here and then click this playlist to watch more dark internet documentaries.
Shout out to Visual Venture. I really like his videos. Honestly, that I wasn't planning on watching the whole thing, but I love the FNAF series, and I wanted to keep seeing what he had to say more about. So I just ended up, watching the whole thing on accident. But yeah, as always, link to his video, link to his channel, both in the description below. Be sure to check him out. He's got some great videos. His content is awesome. But anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you guys liked it. So don't forget those 3 things I like to ask you to do, and like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. Yeah. And you know what it is after that, in case I don't see you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace, and much love to you.